vlogsters. It's time to wake up, be an early bird. I say I grabbed this cup this morning because I'm up early. This is earlier than everybody else in my house. So, let me take that first sip, because that first sip's magic, isn't it? Oh. Yes, I feel like I'm gonna take one out. Lisa said sometimes when you wear both, you can sound a little muffled. So let me try just one and see how that goes. I also might be muffled because when you first wake up, I'm like, you know. Good morning. I know I shared the vlog when I got home. And I did thank everybody there for their support, but I wanted to extend it even further. I think that knowing all the positive things that I know, or believing all the positive things that I hear, however you want to put it, has really helped me move forward. I'm still really grieving every day, moment to moment. It's actually, I feel like now it's like once every 10 minutes I'll have a grief session. But maybe it's now once every 20 minutes. Oh, I got my flu shot. Don't forget to get your flu shot, especially now. With times with the coronavirus out there, you don't want to be immunocompromised with the flu and then have it set you back. So I just wanted to put that out there. You know, if you catch the flu, which is more readily available, not really. There's more strains of the flu out there. So if you could catch the flu, then you could be more compromised for, you know, making yourself more susceptible for coronavirus. That's broken. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I just found this on my desk. It's my autumn tag, and it's really broken. Like, I have to fix it. Like, the wire broke on the clothespin. So I'll have to ask Jimmy about that. Hi. We do have a little bit to talk about. I really wanted to just come on here and talk to you guys about how it's going. So first things first is that yesterday I had my first doctor's appointment in gym with our new doctor. We love her. She's so amazing. Thorough, kind, really engaged, which was wonderful. I think I love that the most. Sometimes you have just like a few minutes to meet with a doctor and then just like, what's wrong with you? Go, la, la, la. But this was really like, she sat down, she lowered her like little computer so she could sit there, and she got to know each one of us individually, which was really, really wonderful. We, you know, it's always like, no matter what, even if you write a list to take to the doctor, you don't always have everything remembered when you're writing your list. So same thing when you go to the doctor, you don't always remember like little things. Like, we went over everything, and then I asked him, I was like, is there anything that I've been complaining about that? And he looked at me, is there anything we've been complaining about that we didn't mention? And you just sometimes get like brain fog, you're older or whatever, you know, whatever things. Or if it's not a thing at the moment, but it was like a thing 2 weeks ago, sometimes you forget. So I nearly like never mentioned that I have like the neuropathy or like the fibromyalgia, because as of the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been bothering me. So it's one of those things you go like, well, you know, it's there, and I forgot it was there because I don't remember it's there because it's not there now, like, if that makes any sense. So there's just a couple of things like that, but we, you know, we talked, and she's like, if there's anything, if you think of, just let us know or whatever. So that's pretty amazing. My life here, as you know, especially the vlogsters, you guys know, going through some stuff before my brother passed away. Some stuff with my confidence at home, with my home life, my family. It's nothing like I don't blame anybody. It's just what I'm going through. It's my process. It's what I'm going through. I'm not looking to push it out onto people. So please don't take it that way. It's just that I'm going through a lot of stuff. You know, it's kind of like, whenever you ever have a confidence shake, I don't know, if you think you're like an amazing baker and then somebody eats your cake and they're like, oh, this is like, ugh. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what? And then how? Have people been lying to me all this time? Like that I was an amazing baker? Like, were they just being kind? Like all these things that kind of go through your head. You know, if you've been around the channel for a while, since the beginning of this year, I've been having trouble crafting because I have trouble seeing. I'm, you know, I've the desire to do it. I keep buying the supplies because that's what I want to do. I want to create. It's just the matter of getting there. It's the difference between like the desire to do it and the ability to do it, or the confidence to do it, or the skill to do it. And I know that that reaches so many of you, because in comments I'll get all the time that I can't do this the way you can, and I can't do it as well as you can. I've always tried, and I know that there are times where I've done above and beyond, but I've always tried to give you crafts that really I feel like everybody could do. There are obviously some exceptions, like when I do lettering, you know, you may have to use your Cricut or a stencil where I can freehand, but I try to always tell you, like, you can use a stencil, you could use a Cricut or whatever it is. So you don't have to like necessarily have the same skill set as the next person, but I try to give you things that I think are achievable. You know, like I mentioned before, I worked with adults with developmental disabilities, and I tried to teach all levels of abilities. I was in Homemakers of America, and we used to teach each other how to do different crafts and lifestyle things. And again, everybody's got all different levels. They're all different levels of abilities that you do there. So, you know, I tried to always make it easy for everybody. That being said, when we first came home from Texas, we had all of the stuff in the van. I actually have footage on my phone that we cleaned the office. It was the post-party craft, pre-autumn craft cleanup. Basically, we put away all the Americana stuff, and we purged, we purged the autumn stuff that we weren't going to use. Like, so sorry. That burp. I burped a little bit. It made me hold my breath and then made me yawn. So I apologize. So like the post-Americana, pre-autumn sort of cleanup. We got the whole office like ready to go. Then we brought in the stuff from Texas to start putting that away. And then we had our family meeting, and I kind of like, it zapped my spirit really, really hard. I think the way I best described it recently is because there are things that you know, and there are things that you believe, and then there are things that you feel. So what I mean by that is, I know that everything will be okay. I know that. I've suffered loss before. My confidence has been shaken before. I believe in my abilities. I believe in a higher power, my Savior, Jesus Christ. But that's my higher power. I believe in my higher power that always holds me up, that will hold me up, continue to hold me up. But what I feel is like overwhelming sadness and unsureness and insecurity. That's how I feel, which is weird. But I will tell you, there has been a lot of things that I've read, mostly for my husband in the past. Jim often goes through bouts of depression, and he has his whole life. But for me, it was always like, when you're a Christian and you believe and you know that your soul here is protected because you believe. And you believe that like the things that you know and the things that you believe. I was often like, how do you feel sad still when you know all this and when you believe all this? And I have to tell you, I can now relate, because I shouldn't say I can now relate. I have been there before, like when I was a teenager and when I was a young adult. I went through things that, I always thought were the end of the world, What's the thing they say? You survived 100% of your bad days or whatever. Excuse me, I'm sorry for doing that, but it's either coming out or going in. I don't even know. It's just like stuck. I'm sorry. The coffee helps. The hot liquid helps. Sorry, I digress. You have survived 100% of your bad days. Okay. That being said, I looked into a lot of things about research for him, like how do you still suffer depression when you know and when you believe that this life is temporary, and there are good things, and you always search for the good things, and focus on the positive. And I realize now that it just happens. Sometimes it's chemical, sometimes it's electrical, chemical, like there's literally like chemicals released in your brain that don't allow you to feel the happiness, to focus on the joy. Some of it's learned behavior. Some of it is like, well, my parents were negative, so I learned how to be negative. My parents were pessimistic, so I learned how to be pessimistic. Or, my teachers at school were very cynical, so I learned how to be cynical. Whatever it is, sometimes it's learned behavior. So, right now, there is a lot of different things that I'm dealing with, and I'm going to try not to cry much. I'm not promising you anything, but I'm going to try not to cry. But one of the things that I'm dealing with, because I'm going to try to take my emotions out of it and make it analytical to share it with you. So the one thing that I'm going through that I kind of only touched on a little bit, and I never really mentioned it before, is that since I moved here, my brother really hasn't spoken to me. I moved to Rolla like the end of May 24th was the day that we actually moved, 2013, and June 3rd, 2013 was the last time. Or was it June 6th? At this point, I feel like it was either 6/6/13 or it was 6/3/13. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the numbers are jumbled around, but I feel like it was June 3rd. That's what's stuck in my head. So June 3rd, 2013 was the last time he spoke to me. And I don't just mean over the phone. I mean text message, barring two, and I'll tell you that in a minute. Answering text messages, answering phone calls. He cut me off social media. I didn't even know he had a Facebook page anymore. I thought he just got rid of his Facebook page, but apparently he blocked me from his Facebook page. He blocked me from his Twitter account. He subsequently got an Instagram. Like, didn't have an Instagram. I had Instagram first, I guess. Or if he had it, he didn't use it or whatever. But he didn't block me from Instagram, but he really hardly ever posted on Instagram. But anyway, so it was very hard, and I battled a lot of sadness. I definitely went through the 7 stages of grief with our relationship. Like, there was the denial, and then it was anger, and then there was like resent, like all the things. And then I got to the point where I actually told my sisters, I was like, I can't keep reaching out to my brother. My sister Alicia was like, just keep trying. And I was like, I can't. It breaks my heart all over again every time I try to reach out to him. So I would just, he would be in like, I'd message him Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday. On maybe my mom's special day or my dad's special day, I would text everybody, just thinking about you today. And he would be part of that. But it was very difficult. If my, like when my other brother was sick and we were in a group message and he'd be in the group message, I would be like, oh my gosh, like Rob's in the group message or whatever. I take this opportunity. But I don't think that my brothers and sisters really had any idea how negatively it affected me. The one thing, though, that got me through it all that time was, and I would say this to my sisters too, as long as he's happy and healthy, as long as he's living his life, he's living his best life, that's really all I wanted, you know. And he was. Maybe he wasn't healthy, but he was definitely happy. Maybe he wasn't the happiest he could have been, but he seemed very happy. His friends said he was very happy. I saw him on trips and he looked very happy. I saw him on travel photos and he looked very happy. So that was really what got me through the distance and the hope that we would reconcile. What was supposed to happen was in June was supposed to be my high school reunion 50th birthday party. And then I was going to New York and I told my sister, I'm going to stand outside his apartment until he comes out and I'm going to hug him and make him talk to me. And it didn't happen because of coronavirus, as you know. So, you know, my reunion was canceled. My plans were canceled. So it was difficult to deal with. It's difficult to not only have the loss, but to have the loss. Like, I feel terrible for my other brothers and sisters because they continued to have a relationship with him. They were not only siblings, but they were friends. They traveled together and stuff, and they talked to each other on the phone all the time. So they're going through now what I was going through over the last 7 years. So like, I miss my friend. He was just so smart and funny. Anyhow, okay, so so what I'm dealing with now is that a little bit of the feeling of why. Like, why did this have to happen the way it happened? One thing you may or may not know about me, I think I've mentioned it before, like with this paper clip that I just fixed, clothespin, sorry. I'm a problem solver. I need to learn solutions. I have to understand why something works. My favorite shows on TV are like detective type shows, and I don't mean like Law and Order, because that's just the same plot over and over again. By season 6 of Law and Order, you know what's gonna happen. It's like, okay. But like House, or like, I love Sherlock Holmes. I love Agatha Christie. I love the trying to find the answer in detail. My favorite first show was Quincy. You know, it was always like, oh, how did they die? They didn't die that way. Whatever it was. So I have always been really drawn to, you know, how does this work? Why does this work? You know, how do we fix it if it's broken? So part of what I'm dealing with right now is what I've been dealing with for 7 years is why. Every once in a while I'd be on the phone with my sisters and we would talk about him, and it would come up and I would cry. And I would just be like, I just don't know why. What did I do that was... like, what... okay. What crime did I commit that required such punishment of this sentence? You know, whatever it was, 2 years, 4 years, you know, start to get over it, start to reach back out. I would reach out and you could reach back. I've always kept the door open, you know, whatever it is. So, there were 2 times last October when we went to go get the new computer. I said to my sister Alicia, who really kept, I feel like she had her own role when Rob was growing up, but I feel like she stepped into my role too. And she told him that to reach out to me and help me, and he helped me via text. And then one other time was on my birthday when she was here, and he texted me. She made him text me happy birthday. He's never been here. My brother Pete has never been here either. But he's never been here. And I guess that's it. He never will be. It's funny because even though he's my younger brother, when I started my YouTube channel and when I like use technology, and I know that sounds stupid because whatever, but I often wonder, is he proud? Is he proud of me? Did I make him proud? My family's validation has always been so important to me. And I didn't even know it. My sister Jane told me that in my bridal shower. I didn't realize how important it was. Sorry. I never realized how important it was until she mentioned it. Excuse me. Oh. I don't know what I was just going to say. I will never know now if he even knew I was doing this. I'm sure he knew, but I don't. My sisters never indicated to me that he ever asked about me, or I don't know. So that being said, I will continue to listen to his voicemails and look at his pictures. I couldn't say goodbye to him. I don't, I'm glad I went. I met his friends, which was really nice. They really helped. Especially Emily. Emily and Christina Christmas. That's not her name, but it really meant a lot to me to know that he really was a good man. So it was really nice to get to meet his friends and for his friends to say what a good guy he is, has been to them. And at least that's some comfort, you know. I have been calling him New York type names, you know, since the way he's been treating me. Like, and I feel bad because with him, it was like, so it was kind of like, he won't respect groveling, you know? So it's like, you can't grovel, because then he'll just be like, ugh, do you see her? She's groveling. Like, that would just be like him. He wouldn't respect that. But I also know that sometimes with him, you had to push, too. So it's like that delicate balance between asking enough and not asking too much. So it is what it is. But that's the part I'm dealing with. It's the hardest. The hardest part is, for me, I can't speak for everybody, is besides the loss, the opportunity for a reconciliation, the never knowing why, the overwhelming sadness about being so young and he had so much future ahead of him and everything, and taking all that amazing knowledge with him and that skill and that creativity, so creative. There really isn't one person in my family that isn't creative. Not everybody is artistic, but everybody is creative. Like we talk about, somebody had asked me recently, did you get the craftiness from your mom or your dad? And I'd say both, because my dad, I don't know if you can see from here, was sort of an amazing artist. You see all his carved fish and stuff. But my mom was like super crafty. My mom was like, Mom, I need a Halloween costume. Okay, let's get a piece of oak tag, a t-shirt, some Christmas garland, and poof, you're an angel. Like, that's what my mom did. My mom took, oh gosh, she took a gold-colored pullover hoodie and gold-colored sweatpants, like the yellow gold color. She took a fur collar from an old coat and she put it here and here, and she cut it up, made it like, and she made a lion, like it was, you know, like, and the tail and everything. It was just like in like no time. Like she could see that. She was crafty that way. She was also gave me my love for decorating for every holiday, just to celebrate every holiday. Now, with her and us and our budget and our limited space, really we just had Christmas. And then before she passed, we started to have more and more Halloween, because Halloween was starting to like really come, and a little bit of Easter. But what she mostly had was like these cardboard paper things. They all got ruined in the flood. I actually had all of them in the drawer that she actually used to keep them in. She used to keep them all in her dresser drawer. And when it be about to be a holiday, she'd be like, go in the drawer and pull out all the Halloween ones. And, you know, where are we going to put this one? And they always were those articulate, not always, but a lot of them were those articulated, like, cardboard things. That's why when the felt articulated, like, skeletons and scarecrows come out at the Dollar Tree, I get so excited, because I'm like, they remind me of my mom's, you know. But Valentine's, like, all of the holidays, we just would put all of these paper cardboard thingies up on the doors and windows and wherever. But, you know, it's continued to grow and until she passed. And then, of course, then it continued to grow. But really, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that she passed at a time where it started to become more commercially available things. Like, you know, when you're younger, only like, not really, when I was younger, only like department stores would decorate for all the holidays, or you know, like businesses would, or, you know, you get the stuff commercially, or really rich people. But like, because that, you know, CVS started selling holiday decor items, and, you know, Caldor started, like, all of these things that just started to spring up as about the year she died in 1991. So it all just really started to spring up about that time. That's when, you know, it just kept taking off. There were some things I had before she passed that I still have, that was mom's, especially Christmas. There's a lot of Christmas stuff I had that was hers. But it's just, you know, it is what it is. And I think that that's where my love of being creative, crafty, of the holidays really comes from. But the artistic side, you know, I attribute that to my dad too. My mom used to be like, we used to say, like, my mom couldn't draw a stick figure, but of course she could draw a stick figure. We used to be like, Mom can't draw a stick figure, but boy, she could put together a Halloween costume in no time. But my dad, you know, was very good with his hands. He drew, he carved for a long time. He's also good woodworking and that kind of thing too. He made fishing poles, and like you just said, he made lures. He made lures that he sold. So he made, there was a fish called a snapper, and he made something called a snapper zapper. And it was basically just like a broom dowel cut down and or painted certain way, and with the certain hooks on the end, and it bobbed and floated in the water and skimmed across the top and whatever. But we made lures that we sold at the local shop. He did like bucktails, which ended up being more synthetic than actual bucktail. But what it is basically deer tail hair looking things that you tie onto little different little weighted hooks and like all these different things. Like but I remember when he made the snapper zappers, I would be the person who would bag them and label them. So I was the snapper zapper wrapper. That's what my job was. But the same thing with the bucktails. We made the labels. I made the labels on the computer. Like, he just gave me my, they both gave me my desire to teach. My mother taught catechism, so religious education, Catholic religious education, if you don't know, for many years. I was out of catechism by the time she started teaching, I feel like. No, because then I started teaching. She was already teaching then. So when did she start? Oh gosh. When did she start? That's a good one. You know what? She did start a really long time ago. I was still in religion when she started teaching. That's right. Because then we started having, my mother was also a lieutenant in the volunteer fire department. So we never had a fire drill at the parish center. And my mother found that was very important. and she started mandating that, not mandating, she didn't mandate, she got the administration basically to start to have at least one fire drill a year, because it was very important. The kids, there was a lot of different, like, we were upstairs and there was 2 different exits upstairs, and where to meet, where to go, and that kind of thing was important, because not having a plan, even in your own home, can really result in a lot of harm and damage. Because, you know, if your little sister is hiding in the backyard because she's scared of the fire and doesn't want to run to the meeting place, and your dad goes back in to go get her and he could die, like, that's, you know, that could happen. So that's like something you really need to have preparedness for. But anyhow, wow, is this a conversation just all over the place? Whew, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting. I'm going to go for now. I'm not going to gopher. I'm not going to become a gopher. I'm going to go for now. I'm glad I hopefully can make you smile a little bit too. That is one thing. Oh my goodness. Let me go back. I'm not going to go now. I changed my mind. That was one thing somebody said about our family. Our family's ability to laugh amongst the grief. You know, when my father died, my sister stood up and gave a little speech, and she said, my father always had 3 children, Pete, Rob, and the girls, because of the way my old school parents held up their boys. So it's just that we always try to find joy. You know, that's why we got to lunch every year when, on the day my mom passed, we celebrate her and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just the way we have always done it before. So we'll see. My mother and my brother both passed on an 11th of a month apart. They were 11 months shy of 30 years apart. So my mother died 29 years and 1 month before my brother. And my father died 10 years before my brother. So, sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not here. I'm going to go have some breakfast. Jim is going to make his Nordic, it's eggs. I think it's called eggs with ham and cheese. I think that's what it's called, or ham and cheese omelet. But it's really good. It's got things in it you wouldn't expect. So it's one of my favorites, and we're gonna go do that. And then I will catch up with you guys next time. I want to make sure that I'm on here every day again. I want to really share with you what's going on. Sometimes when I edit, especially, I've looked back on my footage of all the stuff that I shot before my brother passed away, and all I can do is focus on the fact that he was still alive then. Like, I know that sounds dumb because he wasn't a part of my everyday life, but it's just, that's what my focus goes to right now. So it's hard. I hope to share all of it with you. I was actually keeping all of the Harry Potter DIYs to put up for Halloween, because a lot of people, they can double, some of them can double for Halloween too. So, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I will do my very best. I will get on there. I will do my very best. Whatever I can do, I will do. Whatever I can't do, I promise. I will promise you that I have tried. So, thank you all. I swear, I wish I could come to your house and give you each a hug to thank you for the warmth and love that I felt over this past almost 2 weeks. So 2 weeks today. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry, it just does. It just hit me that it's 2 weeks today. So I love you and thank you. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Good morning, vlogsters. I'm going to do my hair. Hold on. That's morning bedhead for you right there. Oh. Having naturally curly hair. What, Jerry? You have what? Yes, I have naturally curly hair. If you've ever seen my wedding picture, that's what my hair looks like, natural. It went for the style of my wedding. So, oh. It's really why, like, even though my hair is thinning and it's very light, I really look like I have more bald spots than I actually do, because the texture is sort of like, it'll go this way and that way and make parts where there shouldn't be parts. So, oh, let's get some sleep out. Oh, when you're mourning, not in the morning, but when you're mourning, it feels like you always have sleep in your eyes, because when the tears dry, you're